Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the 11th of December, 2021. What I'll be doing later on in the class is I'll be comparing Enoch to the New Testament, because there's a lot that people don't know about the New Testament that, is tied to Enoch. So I'm asking everybody to like, share, subscribe to the Prophets of Awakening channel, and hit the notification button if you can. This channel is a non-Messianic channel, and we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. We don't subscribe to JC and the New Testament. The Tanakh is the Old Testament, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Lord of Hosts. So shalom and welcome everyone to Prophets of Awakening. We're going to do our moment of silence with prayer, the Psalms, and then do a little current events, and then go into some Q&A, and then go into class. Okay? This moment of silence is for our Creator Yahweh and His Lord of Hosts and all that they're doing to bring about the day of the Lord and turn our captivity, turn us to our homeland. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon and Samuel and Hezekiah did on the Shabbat, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For you possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay? So with that being said, we're going to read the Psalms, and then we'll do some current events. Okay, I'm going to read Psalm 29, the voice of the Lord in the storm. It's a psalm of David. It says, give unto the Lord, O ye mighty, give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. The God of glory thundereth. The Lord is upon many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaketh the cedars. Yea, the Lord breaketh the cedars of Lebanon. He maketh them also to skip like a calf. Lebanon and Syrian like a young unicorn. The voice of the Lord divided flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shaketh the wilderness. The Lord shaketh the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord maketh the hinds to calve, and discomfiteth the forest. And in his temple doeth everyone speak of his glory. The Lord sitteth upon the flood. Yea, the Lord sitteth king forever. The Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. Okay, that's Psalm 29, the voice of the Lord in the storm. Okay, any comments?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Come on.
Go ahead, sis.
Okay. Well, I was looking at verse 11. The Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with his peace. And I always ask the Lord of hosts to give me the peace that comes from Him, because when He gives you
Right,
that peace, it's a different kind of peace.
right. That's right.
Um, yes, I was looking at 29:3. The
Okay,
voice of the Lord is upon the waters. The God of glory thundereth. The Lord is upon many waters. That reminds me of Genesis 1 and 2,
right. Okay,
mhm, which says, Genesis 1 and 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water.
right. So read verse 1.
Okay. Genesis 1 and 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
That's Yahweh.
Yahweh, yes.
Let's make it plain. Then verse 2, there's another being,
Yes.
Lord of hosts. He's
Yes.
moving in the waters, right?
Yes.
So these 11 verses right here is verification from what we learned, because you just mentioned verse 3 when he says the voice of the Lord is upon the waters, where he tell you the Spirit of God is an angel on the water in Genesis chapter
Right.
2, 1 and 2. Then also in that same verse, the God of the thunder, the Lord is upon many waters. It's telling you that's him, the Lord. And then 4, the voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. That's what we read in Daniel chapter 12, chapter 10, when he said
Oh,
the voice of the Lord sound like many waters. That's
right.
him. That's him again. Then then it says, uh, right here it says, uh, 9, the voice of the Lord maketh hinds of calves. So what are you talking about? That's when they sacrifice. He told them, get the fat, by the hind part of the calves. Open that up and get that out of there. That's what I want. Okay?
Yes.
And then it says he describes the forest and in his temple. See that? Now we know who the temple belonged to. In his temple do everyone speak of his glory. See that? Anybody else?
Yes, Leonard. Verse 2. Give
Mm-hmm.
unto give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. I was listening to a Torah base Moray earlier in the week, and he
Okay.
was saying that none of our forefathers really knew the name of the Lord of hosts. Well, he was referring to Yahweh, but you could tell that he was talking about you would know by connecting dots that he really was talking about the Lord of hosts, but he referred to it Yahweh.
Right.
What is your thought on that? Uh, because there's many times that from what I even right here it says give glory due to unto his name, that our forefathers did know
Right.
the
Yeah.
name
Yeah.
of
They
the
knew. They knew. That's the whole point. That
Lord.
I'm trying to when I do what I'm doing today with Enoch, it's gonna be like okay. But anyway, that's what has happened. They didn't took away their understanding of him, but which our forefathers had, because of what they would do. They knew who they was sinning against. This angel was overseeing. They knew who they were sinning against. When they sinned against him, he brought his wrath on them. So then they would turn back to him, and then he would bring mercy on them. They knew who he was. They can't keep doing that and don't know who they offended.
Right, because my understanding, my thought on that was that he took away his name uh, from us after
Right,
the curses was put up on us,
right,
because if we called on upon him, he would have to come.
right, exactly.
So that was taken away from us,
Right,
his true name, that
right,
we can't summon him because we are in a punishment stage right now. We coming up out of it, but
right.
yes, that
So
has
so
been my
so
understanding.
right. So And the covenant when he made it David in 2 Samuel, he said he's going to use the Gentiles and the heathen to bring his wrath on us, right?
Correct.
So the Gentiles are the one brought JC.
Yes, sir.
He used the Gentiles to cover his name up.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, just some of the teachings, some of our Hebrew mores are given to people. It's kind of misleading and confusing for them.
Oh yeah. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, verse 4, the voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of
Mm-hmm.
the Lord is full of majesty. Continue from verse 3. Is the voice of the Lord the Spirit? His Spirit?
Oh, no. It's just like me. It's just like me and you. You when you speak, your voice coming up, coming up out of you.
Okay.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Daniel, right quick. Daniel chapter 10. So verse 4 says, in the 4th and 20th day of the month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, it is a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with gold, the upad. His body also was like the beryl, his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet. So you got the same thing me and you got, like the color of polished brass, and his voice. See that? The voice of his words was like the voice of a multitude. That's the same thing with Psalm 29, verse 4 is saying.
Got it. So everything he has spoken it's gonna come to pass, in other
Right.
words.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
And then you also can look at that as we was talking last night about the book that's in heaven, the book of life, where he is the embodiment of the book of life. That's why he the tree of life in the garden. The two trees. He the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Ain't nobody but Lucifer. He know both good and evil. Sin. Michael ain't sin and did nothing unrighteous.
So
But
that's just
Lucifer.
showing how powerful his word is.
Right.
What
Exactly.
he's already spoken, it's gonna come to pass
It's gonna come to pass. Right.
and accomplish what he's already spoken. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Shalom.
Go ahead.
Not only will his word come to pass, but you can feel those
Yeah.
words when you're
Right.
reading them.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So since we right there, I want to shine a light on something else before we go on. So we was dealing with that Daniel when it says the head of days, or it says about this man before the head of days, right? Everybody know that verse in Daniel? Let me go there. Let's see. Let's see what it said.
Are you referring to when he said the Ancient of Days?
Yeah, it's in chapter 8.
It first occurs in 7 and 25.
Let me see.
Oh,
No, 8 and
no,
25.
not that one. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't 7 and 25. It's 8. I think it is 8. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it 7?
7 what?
7 and 9?
Yes, 7 and 9.
Yeah,
Thanks,
right.
Michelle.
Right. 7 and 9. Okay, so right there, what you have to understand about that, we know in Ezekiel chapter 1, Yahweh don't have no flesh and nothing on him, right?
Right, because he's a
So look what
consuming
so look
fire.
what it so so look right here what it says. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, ancient of days did see. So a lot of people trying to figure out who that is. Whose garment was white as snow. See that? White as snow. And the hair is on his head. So we know that's Michael. Yahweh ain't got no hair on. He a silhouette. He's consuming fire. See that?
Right,
So
yes.
then go to chapter 10. There you go again. So you ain't got a phone with no more. So then chapter 10 with me and Lamar was just dealing with says, then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, same person, whose loins were girded with a gold of Upad. His body, see that, was like a beryl, his face as appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like colors of brass, and the voice of his word was like a multitude. Same being. See that? So you ain't got to fumble with trying to figure out who is this the Lord. Yahweh don't have no hair or wool, white wool on his head. He's a consuming fire. He's a silhouette of a man, but he's consuming fire. You don't have no flesh on him. And then you have to look at it too, that the part of the man part of it that was created. He don't need that. He created. He gave these angels bodies. Then he gave the man bodies. He the one. So all that is come from his mind. So he don't need that. He gave them that to identify him. So if you see Gabriel, you know this Gabriel. You see Michael, you see Moses. You know it's Moses because he didn't give him a body to identify the spirit. But he ain't got to do that.
Hey, Leonard, I just want to be clear. So the Ancient of Days in Daniel 7 and 9, that is Michael, correct?
Right.
Okay.
He said you got a hair like wool.
Right. Yeah. See how you just pointed it out, because I've been under the impression all along that was Yahweh being spoken of in that text.
So yeah, and then that's the thing about. So I was like, whoa, last night, man, when I was dealing with that those brothers was talking on the thing, and I got off the line, and God hoping to work on me, man. We're gonna see what happens in a minute. So anybody got any current events?
I have one more question on that psalm that you was reading for verse 7.
Okay.
The voice of the Lord divided the flames of fire. Is that what you was like explaining in Daniel 10 and 6 when it talks about voice of his words like the voice of a multitude?
Well, what you have to do is look at that. How you look at that is, wasn't Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire?
Yes.
What happened?
Don't remember.
He showed up in the fire, and he separated the fire. The fire had no effect on him. And the reason why he was able to do that was he made from fire.
Okay.
So when you start talking about the voices, the separating voices, that's on Mount Sinai when Yahweh there and they there too. The 7 angels are there, and he there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is that something?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anybody else got anything else on that Psalms? Okay. Anybody got any current events? Okay, let me play this. A lot of people phoning with this, but it's coming real soon. You have to deal with this.
Of this century, we have had 3 major crashes. 2000 was the dot-com crash, followed by the 2006 real estate subprime crash, and then 2008, the banking crash.
So, example, I kind of alluded to this the other day, was that when Nebuchadnezzar came, he came 3 times. Well, he came one time and he got some of the vessels out of the temple and all that, and told them, that if they don't get right, then he coming back. And then he got Jeremiah bouncing all around Israel, telling them, the Lord of hosts telling him to tell them Nebuchadnezzar coming back. Repent and turn from what you're doing, whatever you're doing, and he'll cut Nebuchadnezzar out. So, but they didn't hear what he was saying. So, man, telling you right here, just in 2021 already, you had 3 collapses already. So you thinking they just gonna stop? And then we looking at the scripture telling you, based on where we at in the latter days, he telling you what's gonna happen in the latter days.
The question is this next? This is a giant crash of 1929. Every time I listen to those guys on CNBC, I call it bubble television, they keep talking about the giant crash of 1929. I tell you what, it doesn't even compare to this one coming. So that's why I write and I speak, and I'm very concerned about our futures, our well-being, and the state of the economy. But not long ago, I wrote that the best time to prepare for a crash is before a crash. The biggest crash in world history is coming. That got a lot of news, lots of big news. The good news is the best time to get rich is during a crash. The bad news is the crash will be a long one, which is, good news too. There's something about being old that is good. What I have is I've actually lived through history. The S&P 500 is really the S&P 7, and it's being held up by Treasury Secretary Yellen and Powell. So there's no correlation between the economy and what Yellen and Powell are doing. I said one more thing is that I'm a little strange in that I like crashes. So this next crash is going to be really, really good, but it'll bring down gold, silver, Bitcoin, stocks. But the good news is a crash is a good time to get rich. The big debate is there inflation or deflation? And if you look historically, what's happened today is the nominal debt to GDP is a correlation of M2, the volume of money, times the velocity of money. And the reason Yellen and Powell are scrambling is because they've expanded M2, so everybody thinks there's going to be inflation. But velocity of money, which is what Jim Records and I always talk about, the velocity of money is plummeting. People are not spending. So they pump all this money in, prices go up. Meanwhile, the Asians are catching up now that the ports are finally open. So it is transitory inflation. But the problem is we're stacked with this massive debt, and all it's done is bump up the stock market and real estate market. The money has not gone into the economy. That's the sad part. So the rich get richer, but the poor and middle class are getting poorer. It is tragic what's happening today. I don't know what it'll exactly be, but you can't keep printing fake money. That's M2. And the velocity of money keeps dropping, but the debt keeps going up. So you and I don't have to go to Harvard to understand that's not good. This is going to be the biggest crash in world history. We've never had this much debt pumped up. Debt is the biggest problem of all, but that's called M2, money supply. And the debt to GDP ratio is out of sight. So when it comes down, which it brings everything down with it, and I want to give people the big picture. The reason I don't care for Yellen or Powell, because they're both Marxists. And when I say that, I get nailed. I will read you a quote from Lenin. Okay, this is Vladimir. He says, the establishment of a central bank, this is a direct quote, is 90% of a communizing of a nation. That's Yellen and Powell. And the other statement from Lenin is, and this is in manifesto here, the best way to destroy the capitalist system is to debauch the currency. I'd say it's desperate people doing desperate things. As you and I know, the stock market, like I said, it's not the S&P 500. is the S&P 7. And the separation between the stock market and the economy has never been worse. I'm just disturbed because the money is staying only in the investor market. Every time the Fed does something, the Treasury does something, only guys like me get richer. But the money is not going into the real economy. They're not investing. They haven't invested for years in plant and equipment. So we have massive unemployment and underemployment. And that's why I quote Lenin, the establishment of a central bank is 90% of communism. And the best way to destroy a capitalist system is to botch the currency. That was in 1971 that Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So in this book here, I kind of woke up in 1972 as a Marine pilot flying in Vietnam. And I went behind enemy lines in Vietnam looking for gold because it was illegal in 1972 for Americans to own gold. When markets crash, it's the best time to get rich. So I'm getting very excited about a crash coming because the better stocks will come available. Unfortunately, Michelle.
So you heard what he just said. The best time to get rich is when the stock market crash. And we know the Most High already prophesied to us in the latter days that we was going to leave here with great substance. So when you put all this stuff together and look at what's going to follow the dollar when it collapses is this cryptocurrency and all that, you can see the prophecy just is right in front of our face. He's using these Edomites behind it, but he's using them to do exactly what he said. And we're going to see that in the book of Enoch too when I read all that. That's what was bugging me out about it. Any comments on that? Okay. I got this here. I was telling you about last night. I'm gonna play it and then we can talk about it. It's about this critical race theory, which is wreaking havoc on these white folks. Need to know information.
On this show, we have been covering the criticisms and even attacks against the teaching of critical race theory in the United States since day one. At the moment, there are measures in almost 30 states against the theory in some shape or form. My first guest of the evening has recently penned an article for the conservative online magazine, The Federalist. It's entitled, "Critical Race Theory Aims to Murder the Souls of White Children." In it, he writes, "They call for equity, which means equality of outcomes plus reparations. Inclusion, which is restricted speech banning anything some find offensive. And diversity, which is a violation of individual identity and enforced intellectual conformity. This is a form of mass indoctrination. These are strategies to indoctrinate people into critical race theory." Joining me now is the author of the article. He's also an author of the book that you saw flashing there. His name is Dr. Jason Hill. He's a distinguished professor of philosophy at DePaul University and the author of several books, including the forthcoming What Do White Americans Owe Black People? Racial Justice in the Age of Post-Oppression. Professor Hill, such a pleasure to have you on this show. You wrote an article. I got to be honest with you, it shocked me a bit. Not so much your perspective, which resonates with many, but the sort of tone and the approach you took. As such a careful thinker, as such a trained philosopher, I would have expected a slightly different take. So I wanted you to help me unpack some of this stuff. You said that equity, inclusion, and diversity efforts are a form of mass indoctrination. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, first of all, Mark, thank you for having me on the show. I wanted to show, first of all, that there's nothing about critical race theory that has in it something called doctrinal purity, that there are various iterations of critical race theory. And let me just say also before I answer your question, I don't think that every single grievance that affects the right or afflicts the right should be subsumed on a critical race theory. I know there are lots of things in our culture that are disturbing to people on the right, and they immediately blame it on critical race theory. So I wanted to sort of unpack, having taught critical race theory myself 25 years ago when I first became a professor, and intermittently introducing it into my introduction to philosophy courses, and having seen the various iterations of it changed and morphed over the years into a more strident form of activism. I no longer teach it because the attitude toward the students are different. And I wanted to write this article because of what my research has yielded in terms of how critical race theory is manifesting itself in K through 12 schools and in universities. It's no longer just being taught in law schools. I don't think it ever was just ensconced in the law departments in our country. And what I found was quite disturbing. In another article, I wrote a piece about how it affects Black children. And in this piece, I wanted to, for various reasons, which we can discuss, show how I thought it was affecting the agency of whites, because I fear that there is going to be a terrible. Go ahead.
Let's go there for just a moment, because that's one of the things that I found so curious, right? I mean, you're conceding from the beginning that there is a way, and people like Christopher Rufo have admitted this, that they want to attach all white anxiety around race, all acts of problematic racial discourse. They want to take it all and put it under this title, critical race theory, and to use his language, kind of destroy the brand of critical race theory. It doesn't allow for nuance. It doesn't allow for us to think deeply or carefully about stuff, right? So if we begin from that place, why write an article called Critical Race Theory Aims to Murder the Souls of White Children? Surely you could see that might actually add to the kind of inflammatory discourse and make it harder to have a sophisticated conversation about race in the country.
Right, Mark, because when I first started teaching critical race theory, and I was teaching really the materialist form that was espoused by Derek Bell in his good works. I mean, I disagree sometimes with him, but I teach subjects I disagree with, which was the materialist iteration of critical race theory that is looking at how various material configurations like law, economics, and politics affect people in different racial groups. I thought that was proper. I thought that it was any type of scholarship that was worthy of being taught. This has changed. What I see happening, Mark, is that critical race theory, the interdisciplinarity of it in the first place, and the non-doctrinal purity of it makes it very problematic, so that it has been appropriated by a number of different movements and a number of different individuals who are using critical race theory in quite nefarious ways. And I don't see the advocates of critical race theory, let's call them purists, calling out some of these activities that I outlined in the article, like what happened to my friend's son and what I have seen in my research. So when we have school districts in Seattle public schools holding racially charged teacher training workshops in which they're told just explicitly that they are racist because they're white, and if they disagree, that their lizard brains are proof of their white fragility. When we have in the San Diego school system instances, I'm not saying this is all pervasive across all schools in America, and I'm not for banning it, which we can talk about later, but when we have instances of white students walking 4 steps ahead of black students, and then the black students being told to walk 4 steps behind, and then the white students are told to look back and see how far the black students are, and then are told that you're part of that systemic problem, which allows blacks to remain so far behind you. I think this is something quite dangerous. This is not the critical theory, race theory, that I certainly recognized 25 years ago when I taught it alongside, Kant, Aristotle, Hegel, Marx, although I'm not a Marxist, but I teach political philosophy, Montesquieu.
Okay, any comments? So you want to watch that. It's a black professor says critical racist theory murders the soul of white folk. Any comments?
Man, so many of our own, I can't say he's our people, but so many of our skin folk are enemy of our people. It's just
Right.
amazing.
Yeah, they ain't no black man.
Right.
And
Well,
that's
yeah,
what I was thinking. He didn't even look. He's
He
not
wanted to
even.
go away.
Mhm.
right. Yeah, you saw the lighter shade of him. You know who his dad is, his father, rather.
Like that song?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, they trying to we was talking about what happened the other day about the reparations. They looking at everything and they see, like Lady Vicky said, you're gonna do it one way or the other. You're looking and seeing that you gotta do it, you're gonna do it, you're gonna voluntarily do it or involuntarily do it. And that's where all this stuff coming from. They trying to they don't want the kids to find out that they believe that they way superior than us, that we 2/3 humans, and they didn't all these critical stuff they done to us, our grievous stuff they done to us over the last 2,000 years is coming out, and they don't want it to come out. And so that's why he's saying it's going to destroy the soul of the white kids, because they're going to look back and see their origins and what their parents done. The reason why they ain't in the place they in because they highly intelligent. They in the place where they at because they beasts and what they done. That's what and then they don't want nobody. They don't want that to come out. Yeah.
Right, and also what they've been taught in church and Sunday school, that God has no favoritism. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I keep on. That's what I keep on screaming, that all that is tied together. Christianity, all this stuff that we've our whole mind, body, and soul tied into, ain't nothing but lies that they gave us. And it's
Right.
tied to them thinking they superior. When the whole time we the ones that's superior. He tells us, he chose us. We the elect. We didn't found that out.
Right.
Yeah.
Psalms 33. It's
Right.
chosen people. Yeah. They don't want them to know the truth.
Right. You did something?
It's kind of like that too. Out, I work in the school system, and I know like every, the even the programs they have, like for Black History, we're talking about critical race theory, kind of pretty much teaching what happened before in the systematic racism. You
Right.
Even in the school systems, they don't want to offend the community, the parents,
Right.
of course, non-Black parents, non-Black students. So you even have to censor what history.
Oh
They've
yeah.
been doing this all on what history you can put in a program. You can only tell about, the traditional, Martin Luther King, things that's not gonna offend. You can't add Malcolm X, you can't add the slave, anything that might offend them, instead of looking at the true history of what happened in this country. But
Ain't that something? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you remember what? Did you hear what he said that tied to them telling us to? They used to tell us that when we was on a black person would see a white person walking on the sidewalk, the black had to get off the sidewalk, and the black had to put his head down. And she was just saying that they were teaching the kids just in school how the black kids to walk 4 to 5 feet behind the white kid, and then telling the white kid that when he looked back, he can see how far ahead he is than the blacks. All that stuff was going on, right? And he also said they boasted about their reptilian brain. Did you hear that? They lizard-like reptilian brain. Did you hear him say that?
I
You didn't
didn't
hear
hear
that?
that.
Yeah, he said that. So I want to show you something though. So you want to watch it? This like I was saying, this uh black professor says critical race theory murders the soul of white children. So I'm reading right here in the book of Enoch. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I'm going to read this. This is Enoch chapter 20. These are 7 angels, holy ones. These are the names of the holy angels which watch Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the world and over Tartarus, right? So he over hell, Tartarus. One of the holy angels, Raphael, one of the holy angels, and he's over the spirits of men. So that's the souls that's in men. One of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world, and the luminaries. We talked about that in chapter 18 of Genesis. Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he's set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Seraphel, one of the holy angels, who is set over spirits, who's seeing is who's seeing in the spirit. Okay, then 6, here we go. Gabriel, one of the holy angels. Look at this. He's over paradise. That's the Garden of Eden, right?
Yes.
So look, Gabriel, one of the holy angels who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubim. So you think it's a coincidence that serpent showed up in the garden? He just told you right here. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, he's over paradise, he's over the Garden of Eden, and the serpent's tied to it. Come on. So, like I said before, when you understand this, you should be trying to jump over the World Trade Center, trying to get the book, David Icke book I told you about. The Biggest Secret, chapter 1. He's telling you all, he give you all background on the serpents. And so, like I said before, this killed a whole bunch of, stuff because of, these you got people on the earth that got this serpentine DNA in them, reptilian DNA in them. I'm showing you all the characteristics. These eyes, these all funny color eyes, and then the long ass necks, all that. We go to this. So you trying to figure out did the serpent sleep with Eve? Well, here go we looking at the evidence all around us, and so they don't like I said before, they don't think like us. You got reptile DNA in you. You don't think like we think. And people keep on saying the atrocities that happened during the transatlantic slave trade wasn't human. Yeah, it was reptilian. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd stick that in there. I was dealing with that last night. Okay.
Those blue and green eyes.
Yeah, green, all different funny color eyes. And like I said before, how in the hell that's Noah's son? Ain't nothing Noah's son. I'm gonna beat that in the ground because it ain't none of his son. There ain't none of the characteristics Noah got. Noah ain't had none of the characteristics. So that's some more people. You have to go back and rightly divide that. He said, go and get 2 of every kind, of all flesh, all genitalia, and put them on all. Okay? So yeah. Anyway, let me see where I'm at. Yeah, so with that being said, I was gonna open it up for some Q&A and comments, and then we're gonna go into the lesson. What was you talking about earlier?
Yes, I don't. It's not a question; it's an observation that we was discussing prior to coming on.
Okay.
The observation is that for the past week or so, I've been going out looking at the skies since this new moon have came
Right.
out, and the star of Venus is always next to the bright side, the lit side of the moon. It
Right.
was above it, now it has moved below it, but it's still in the same area as the moon. So I just noticed that, and I know Lamar had mentioned that, hey, perhaps it's a sign when the two appear together with right after the new moon. So I have never seen Venus hang around the moon as long as it has this time around, and observing the skies at night. So I was wondering, did you have any thoughts on that?
Well, when you go back to we didn't begin to find out about that. A lot of stuff these Gentiles and these heathens been talking about that they saying mythology and all that is actual fact. And so one of the things is in mythology is that when you go back and look at paganism and all that, how they the idol worship and all this stuff, it's all most of it tied to Venus. It's tied to Mars and Venus. And so the story is that before Genesis 1 and 1, all the planets was inhabited. And Satan dwelled on Venus. That's why what you just said, you always seen it. That's why it's saying the morning star. And then, so anyway, Satan was they was going, like he said, going to and fro. He all over the place. All these planets was in operation. So when he seen and what he done with these serpents and all that, he Most High shut the whole universe down. It was dark. And that's why when you come to Genesis chapter 1 and 2, they return into the universe. But he only shines light on the earth. And that's why he said replenish it. But anyway, he shines light on the earth and the other planets still void, like the way he did them. That's why you can't, to this day, they can't get on Mars. They can't get on these other planets. Venus and all of them got these gaseous force fields around them where you can't get to them. Because that's how he left them. So that's what they're, and then you look at how it's not humans that was orchestrating all the stuff that was in Egypt. It's these beings. They came from a certain place. That's how they was able to do it. Like I was saying, as above and so below. They looking up at the sky and they see those Orion, and that's where they come from. They lining up the planets. They lining up the pyramids on the Giza Plateau according to where they came from. And then you go to, look at us. We over here. We yearning to go back to our homeland, back to Israel. That's what these beings doing the same thing. That's
excuse me. Go ahead, Leonard. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm finished.
But another observation in all that, but the people got it backwards. They put the star on the dark side of the moon.
Right.
Where in the sky, that star is always on the lit side of the moon. But if you look at any of their pictures or emblems or flags, they got the star like either inside the two tips of the crescent or outside of it, but it's on the dark side of the moon.
Right.
So that's a bit weird. But in the sky, what the Lord of Hosts shows you, that star Venus is always on that lit side of that moon. Whenever I have watched it over the years, so I
was dealing with that. I had to go back and look at it, find out where I was looking at it, but it go way back. This one documentary I was watching where the guy was showing how that was all over. What you're saying right now was all over Egypt. They didn't flip it all around, but on the walls in Egypt and all those different like stone writings and stuff, they got that image of what you're saying about that star. That little they had a crescent moon, and they had that little. They make sure to show you that little dot. It's Venus, and that's what they've been worshiping and dealing with that forever and a day. They done flipped it all around because of Christianity and all that, and then they incorporate all that into the New Testament. So, like he said, that's Venus is the bright and morning star. You can see it. And they took that all, like I was saying before, these people, like I said, he sent Cain and his descendants away from the Most High. They didn't get the right knowledge. They had to come up with stuff, and then they started getting their information from these fallen angels and from Lucifer, and they ain't gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna tell you just the opposite. And that's where all this stuff came from. And then they had a opportunity to get hold of our records after we had sinned against the Most High and he cast us off. Then they was able to hoodwink all that entire day what they knowledge and tied in and to our knowledge and have us doing what they was doing. Yeah. Let me see what his brother talking about. He says, I've always had a question about the same planets. I thought the sun and the moon was a light and not a solid object. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go find that later on when I get a chance and look back at that, because all that's what that is in Revelations, all that about the sun and the moon and all that. They tie and they understanding and sorcery and all that in there with tied in with that. And you reading it and going back to what Joseph said about he saw 11 stars bowing down and all that. And that ain't what's going on. They got something else going on. But they want you to think tied from a Hebraic perspective, but it ain't coming from a Hebraic perspective. It's coming from their wicked ass or paganism and occultism and all that. Yeah. Okay. You got anybody got anything else on that?
Hey, Lana, what was that you just quoted about above and below?
As above, so below.
Yeah, that remind me of a Baphomet.
Yeah, right. That's what
He
it
always
is.
got one hand up and one
Right.
hand down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And JC doing the same thing. Every time on all his pictures, he got one hand pointing up and the other hand pointing down.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Or George Washington in DC, he doing the same thing. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Putting it right in our face, man.
Yeah, right in our face. We from with it. Even these rappers doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna play this right here and then anybody else got any more questions? I'm gonna play this and then go right into the lesson. So brother asked this question, I'm gonna play it again.
Before I let you get into that, to finish up on the point about the book of remembrance and it being everything we need, I'm in total agreement with that, because indeed, as you iterated in so many of your lessons, if the Most High does not give us a law, then there's nothing to judge us on, and the Most High is just. So he must have left us some breadcrumbs that would be discernible by us to be able to return to him. When you were speaking about the angels initially and how they answered to the Most High and only we can rebel, I believe in Genesis it does say where the sons of God, quote unquote, sons of God, descended upon the earth and took daughters amongst men and bore giants to them. This seems as though it contravenes the Most High's will. So what's your take on that the angels do indeed answer to the Most High and don't have free will to rebel against them?
All right, now here's the thing. In Genesis, it doesn't say that angels descended upon the...
First of all, the brother said he's assuming that the angels don't have no free will. Keep that in mind.
The earth. It doesn't say that. What it states is that the sons of God saw the daughters of men and found them to be fair. They were fine. They were good looking. And so they lay down in the bed with them, cohabitated with them. And during this time, because a lot of our people have this thing to where the thinking is angels came down to heaven, had sex with people, and then this produced giants. That's not what it states. It states that the sons of God, who are the line of Seth, because the children of Israel, are we not the sons and daughters?
So let's look at that right quick before we go any further. This how you write and divide stuff. So we know about Christianity. We know you got to go the pastor, the mega pastor, the rabbi, all of them. They got to go to seminary. That's the more knowledge. None of the prophets, none of the men of God in the Bible went to no seminary. There wasn't no seminary. So they was getting this information from these angels, these 7 holy ones, and the other ones that they were dealing with, these watchers, they was giving the information. They didn't have to go to no seminary, right? So all these people been in the seminary. So what I was saying earlier, I was talking to somebody and it says that how you figure out, how you rightly divide what people doing. They want us to read the scriptures, and then they want to try to break it down from what they say, what they think, and that's what they taught in seminary. So he just brought up Seth, the Sethians. Ain't no damn Sethians nowhere in that. You don't say nothing in there, Genesis chapter 6, about no Sethians. So where is that coming from? That's coming from seminary and from you trying to, just like I say, people trying to do the Most High work. Just like in these end times. The Most High already told you what he gonna do. You ain't gotta do nothing. All you gotta do is get a lollipop. He told you what he gonna do. And I'm gonna show you all that in a minute in the book of Enoch. So what you have to do when you're dealing with people is just, all you gotta do is read the word. We on fertile soil. All you gotta do is read the word, and the people that the Most High dealing with, the elect ones, they're gonna absorb it. Whether it's while you talking or an hour when you get off the phone or whatever, he gonna make sure he gonna convey that to them. You ain't gotta go and bring up something else that ain't got nothing to do with what's being said. So let him talk.
Of God, of Yah, we are the sons and daughters of the Most High. That's who we are. So when the sons of God saw the daughters of man, that's other nations, found them to be fair, laid down with them. Nowadays, we call these, Solomon was guilty of laying down,
read the scripture,
with strange women, known as outlandish women. And outlandish, you're looking at women who don't look like you, who don't speak the languages you speak. They are just foreign in their traditions, in their ways, and their customs. And most certainly, they're gods. Nowadays, our men are going to different places seeking exotic women, not looking for women that are of the house of Israel. They're looking for women who are strange in their behavior. So with that, when you're dealing with this, strange woman, as we come back to dealing in Genesis, these men saw that these strange women, nowadays we call them exotic women.
Okay, that's enough. Now, I'm going to go in. Anybody got anything before I go in?
Yes, sir. I got something.
What you got?
And I haven't seen that video in its entirety. And his explanation of the sons of God, did he ever reference Job 1 and 6?
No.
Okay.
He can't because of what he's saying.
It's a faulty argument then if he didn't. Right. Okay. All right.
So here we go. I was telling sister yesterday about Enoch. This was the meat at the Most High, and so this is why we just not coming in contact with Enoch, because this is where the meat of the New Testament came from. We can do typology and go back and forth to the books that was written in the Old Testament, how they got JC out of there, but here we go right here. We're going in right here. So I'm in Enoch chapter 6, and he fumbling with that. That whole little thing, they fumbling with it. Look what Genesis chapter 6 say. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful, comely daughters. Look at this. 2. And the angels. See that? Say Sethians. Say, and the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, come, let us choose wives from all among them, the children of men, and begot us children. See that? Then he goes on to tell you their names. You don't just say they ain't fumbling with it. He tell you his angels, then he give y'all their names. Simjaza, the leader. Then he keep on going. He give you a whole truckload of names. Arikabah, Aromia, Betharah, and all these names, Turel, Siriel, all these angels came down and start sleeping with women and got giants. Like I said, we Israelites today, we getting wives and sleeping with women. We ain't getting no giants. That's flesh eaters and eating up people. Come on. So there it is right there in the book of Enoch. We ain't familiar with it. So we're gonna keep going. I'm in Genesis 15, right quick. Read this right quick. This pertaining to the women. So it says, and that's what the other brother had mentioned earlier about it's something going on with, like I was saying, the blood, which is very important. So it says, and if you look at it, Adam sinned in the garden, and he wasn't immortal because of what went down with him and the woman, and then these angels came down and slept with women, and they weren't able to sin no more. So look what 15 says. And he answered and said to me, this is Michael talking to Enoch, and I heard his voice. Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of the righteousness, approach hither and hear my voice, and go say to the watchers of heaven who have sent thee to intercede for them, you should intercede for men and not men for you. Wherefore have you left the high, holy, see that? These ain't no Sethians. Wherefore you have left the high and holy and eternal heaven and lain with women. It's all over the place. So it's crazy. See, and defiled yourself with the daughters of men, and taking yourselves wives, and done like the children of the earth, and begotten giants as your sons. Okay, let me get this right quick. And begotten giants as your sons. See that? Thou were holy. Look at this. Thou were holy, just like Adam was. Spiritual, living eternal life. That's how Adam was doing. And you have defiled yourself with the blood of women. See that? We've been fumbling with that. With the blood of women, and have begotten the children with the blood of the flesh, and has children of the men, and have lusted after the flesh and blood as those do who die and perish. So what we looking at? Well, they're always talking about how righteous the man and how righteous he got to be. Well, the woman got to be just as righteous. They got to be just as righteous because that's what he's talking about when you say a holy seed. That's what he's talking about when he said, and he called his name Seth, and he called Abel. Abel was righteous because how Abel was conceived. She wasn't defiled, and he wasn't defiled. The blood wasn't defiled. Okay? So anyway, so I'm gonna go to I showed you that already, Enoch chapter 20, that Gabriel is over these serpents. So it ain't some word that somebody just plucked out the sky. These serpents was there from the very beginning. Gabriel was over. Gabriel was dealing with them. He was over them. That's what he's talking about when he says that Lucifer was on the mountain of God. He's walking up and down the fiery stones. That's what he's talking about. And this who he took with him, the third that he took with him when he left. Fiery flying serpents. Let's look at it. Get an example right quick. Going all the way in. So, Ezekiel, Isaiah, So like I said before, Most High ain't just talking and saying words just to be saying it, just for the hell of it. So he says in chapter 14, verse 29, he's telling them that Antioch Epiphany is coming. Right here. Rejoice not, thou, O Palestinian, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root, see that? Out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatree, and its fruit shall be a flying, fiery serpent. See that? It's because it's serpents. They gave over them. They came down and slept with women and got people, products from that. Part human, part serpent. Wicked as hell. Ain't nothing righteous in them. That's what he's telling you. So he looking down from heaven, he telling Isaiah that. There's a clown coming here. He's a serpent. His origins is from the serpents. Smooth. Come on. Don't sound like the same people to me. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna start reading in the lesson is I'm comparing Enoch to the New Testament. That's where the hook coming in there with so many people being misled and not connecting the dots because they're not understanding that, you know, JC, he's Krishna, he's Horus, and he's Mithras, but he also Enoch. He's being correlated from the book of Enoch. So we're gonna see that in a minute when I read it. I'm starting in Genesis 37. I'm just gonna do a truckload of reading. We're gonna see it. The second vision which he saw. This is Enoch chapter 7. Also, Enoch talking in parables. I don't know if anybody caught that yet, but the reason JC talking in parables, Enoch got 3 parables that he wrote. He taught parables that he was given. You don't see Isaiah, none of these other prophets talking no parables. On the Enoch. That's why JC talking in parables. So it says, Genesis 37, the second vision which he saw, the vision of wisdom, which Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Mahalalel, the son of Canaan, son of Enos, son of Seth, son of Adam, saw. See that? Saw. And this is the beginning of the words of wisdom, which I lifted up my voice to speak and say to those which dwell on the earth. Hear ye men of old time. See that? Not us. Hear ye men of old time, and see, ye that come after the words of the Holy One, which I will speak before the Lord of spirits. It were better to declare them only to the men of old times, but even from those that come after, we will not withhold the beginning of wisdom. See that? Enoch is the beginning of wisdom. See that? Until the present day, such wisdom has never been given by the Lord of spirits, as I have received. See that? See that? So we looking for wisdom. This ain't no female. See that? Until the present day, such wisdom has never been given by the Lord of spirits, right? As I have received according to my wisdom. See that? So he ain't got no other being standing there. He giving the wisdom to them, then they giving it to Enoch. He's wisdom, and he giving it to Enoch. 6. And according to the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits, see that? By whom the lot of eternal life has been given to me. That's why he's the tree of life. 7. Now, these 3 parables, they go to parables. This is why JC talking in parables. You're not gonna figure that out because you ain't had no access to the book of Enoch. See that? So you can't even fathom it. Let me get this off here. Okay, so.
Hey, Leonard, can I ask a quick question for understanding?
Go ahead.
Real quick. The Lord of Spirits is Yahweh, and the Ancient of Days is Michael, correct? Because I'm trying to figure out the Lord of Spirits right here.
When we get through with this here, you're going to see what the Lord of Spirits is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so 7 says, now 3 parables were imparted to me, and I lifted up my voice, and I recounted them to those who dwell on the earth, right? And when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, and sinners shall be judged for their sins. Now, this is the point one of the things I want to shine light on. It says, and when the congregation of the righteous, so anybody got a guess or understanding who this congregation of righteous is?
Seven angels.
You want to give a shot at it? It's not the 7 holy angels. It say, when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, and sinners shall be judged for their sin.
Is it the seed of Seth?
Well, it says Enoch. It says Most High brought Moses up on Mount Nebo, killed him, and he ascended. His spirit, his soul ascended to his fathers. Right? Joseph died, and his spirit ascended to his fathers. Right? So they're going somewhere. These spirits of these men, these righteous men, going somewhere. Right? There's a place where they at. That's the congregation of the righteous. That's who he bringing back in Ezekiel 37.
So with David and when everybody comes back in the end to judge. Okay.
Right. And David over all them. That's what they trying to make out the church is. But it's these people that's ascended, and we see that these 7 angels is assisting them when they pass. Like David said, when I passed, I lost my body and my spirit was there. These wicked giants that's here on the earth, they spirit try to hold me up to keep me from ascending. And Michael had to come down and shoot out arrows and scatter them and get David's spirit and take it up. So we're going to keep going. It says, and when the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose elect works hang upon the Lord of spirits, the light shall appear. Read it again. And when the righteous one, singular, shall appear. So he ain't came yet. And it ain't Enoch. See that? When the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose elect work hang upon the Lord of spirits, all light shall appear to righteous. All light shall appear to the righteous and the elect who dwell on the earth. Where then will be the dwelling of the sinners, and where the resting place of those who have denied the Lord of spirits. It have been good for them if they had not been born, when the secrets of the righteous shall be revealed, and the sinners judged, and the godless driven from the presence of the righteous and the elect. From that time, those that possess the earth shall no longer be powerful and exalted, and they shall not be able to behold the face of the holy. For the Lord of spirits has caused his light to appear on the face of the holy, the righteous and elect. Then shall the kings, these giants, y'all understand that. Then shall the kings and the mighty perish. So it's back to Genesis chapter 6. Giants were born, men of renown, right? Mighty men. That's these right here. Then shall the kings and the mighty perish, and be given unto the hands of the righteous holy, and the righteous and holy. Therefore, none shall seek for themselves mercy from the Lord of spirits. So once it starts, ain't no more mercy. For the life is at an end, right? 39. We're gonna see what he's talking about right here. It's a doozy. For their life is at an end. We're gonna see what end he's talking about. 39. And it shall come to pass in those days that elect and holy children will descend from the heavens, from the high heavens, and their seed will become one with the children of men. And those days Enoch received books of zeal and wrath, and books of disquiet and expulsion, and mercy shall be accorded to them, saith the Lord of spirits. And in those days a whirlwind. We know what the whirlwind is. It's these 4 angels, Yahweh inside of it, and the 4 angels. That's the whirlwind. So here we go. Way back here with Enoch. And in those days, a whirlwind carried me. Same whirlwind Ezekiel saw, carried Enoch off from the earth and set me down at the end of heavens. And there I saw another vision, the dwelling place of the holy and the resting place of the righteous. See that? That's where they're going. When he said Enoch ascended, when he said that Moses ascended to his fathers, and Abraham ascended to his fathers. Just where they went, right here. There I saw another vision, the dwelling place of the holy and the resting place of the righteous. See that? Watch where they at. Here mine eyes saw their dwelling and his righteous angels and their resting places with the holy. So the 7 angels. That's where they at. Come on. So 8. And mercy like dew upon the earth. This is among them, thus it is among them forever and ever. And in that place, mine eyes saw the elect one. See that? It's Enoch. Enoch saw the elect one. See that? Of righteousness and of faith. And I saw his dwelling place under the wings of the Lord of spirits. See that? You want to know who the Lord of spirits was? Look at that. Under the wings of the Lord of spirits. See that? 10. And the righteous saw, and the righteous shall prevail in his days, and the righteous shall elect, and the elect shall be without number before him forever and ever. And all the righteous and elect before him shall be strong as a fiery light, and their mouths shall be full of blessings, and their lips extol the name of the Lord of spirits. And righteousness before him shall never fail, and the upright shall never fail before him. There I wished to dwell, and my spirit longed for that dwelling place. So Enoch saw this place, and he didn't want to leave. It did something like this, like Sister Cynthia was saying earlier, to do something to you. So it says right here, when he saw it, there I wish to dwell, and my spirit longed for that place. He didn't want to leave. Say, and there, herefore, have been my portion. For so has it been established concerning me before the Lord of spirits. In those days I praise and extol the name of the Lord of spirits with blessings and praises, because he have destined me for blessings and glory according to the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits. For a long time my eyes regarded that place. Yeah, he's still thinking about it. And I blessed him and I praised him, saying, blessed is he, and may he be blessed from the beginning and forevermore. And before him there is no ceasing. Look, here we go. This is what we talked about, or I was talking with Lamar about yesterday, about predestined. 19. Before him, there is no ceasing. He knows before the world was created. See that? What is forever and what will be from the generation to generation. You already know that. So we already know who this is. Gabriel told you it's on him and Michael looking on the book. See that? 20. Those who sleep not, bless thee. They stand before thy glory and bless. Praise and extol, saying, holy, holy is the Lord of spirits that filleth the earth with spirits. And here my eyes saw all those who slept not. They stand before him and bless and say, blessed be thou, and blessed be the name of the Lord forever and ever. And my face was changed, for I could no longer behold. Okay, that was 39. 40. And I said, and after that, I saw thousands and thousands and thousand times thousands. I saw a multitude beyond the number of reckoning who stood before the Lord of spirits. And on the four sides of the Lord of spirits, I saw four presents, different from those that sleep not. And I learned their names. For the angels that went with me made known to me their names and showed me all the hidden things. And I heard the voices of those four presents that uttered praises before the Lord of glory. See, they didn't change it now. Lord of glory. And the first voice blessed the Lord of spirits. See that? Lord of glory and Lord of spirits. The first voice blessed the Lord of spirits forever and ever. And the second voice I heard blessing the elect one. See that? It's three different beings. The second voice I heard blessing the elect one, and the elect ones who hanged upon the Lord of spirits. See that? So it says, and the third voice I heard pray and intercede for those who dwell on the earth and supplicate in the name of the Lord of spirits. I heard the fourth voice fending off the Satans, see that? Adversaries, Satan, fallen angels, and forbidding them to come before the Lord of spirits to accuse them who dwell on the earth. After that, I asked the angel of peace who went with me, who showed me everything that is hidden. Who are these four presents which I have seen and whose words I have heard and written down? And he said to me, the first is Michael, the merciful and long suffering. The second, who is set over, remember he was taken in the whirlwind with these four angels, right? You know who they are. The second, who is set over diseases and over all the wounds of the children of men is Raphael. The third, who is set over all the powers of is Gabriel. The fourth, who is set over the repentance upon hope of those who inherit eternal life. And his name is Phainel. And these are the four angels of the Lord of Spirit, and of the four voices I heard in those days. And after that, I saw the secrets of the heavens, and how the kingdom is divided, and how the actions of men are weighed and balanced. And there I saw the mansions of the elect, and the mansions of the holy. And mine eyes saw there all the sinners being driven from this, which deny the name of the Lord of Spirits. So I want to shine light on something. Remember, JC said, I go to prepare a place for mansions. Anybody remember that verse in the New Testament? Anybody familiar with that verse?
Yeah, I remember that.
See, this is where it come from. And there I saw the mansions of the elect and the mansions of the holy. And mine eyes saw there all the sinners being driven from thence, which deny the name of the Lord of spirits. So my question is, did you say, well, you know, that's justifying him? No, I ain't justifying him, because if he was legitimate, why you got to hide the book of Enoch? If he's saying and corresponding and connecting dots to you to Enoch that the Most High sent, why you hid this? You hid it because you're gonna look at it. Israelite gonna look at that with the spirit of the Most High on them and see that this is where it came from. So anyway, 3, and they were just dragged off, and they could not abide because of the punishment which proceeded from the Lord of spirits. And there mine eyes saw the secrets of the lightning and of the thunder and the secrets of the wind, and how they are divided to blow over the earth, and the secrets of the clouds and the dew. And there I saw from whence they proceeded in their place, and from where they saturated the dusty earth. And there I saw closed chambers, out of which the winds are divided, and the chambers of hell, and the winds, and the chambers of the mist, and the clouds thereof hovered over the earth from the beginning of the world. And I saw the chambers of the sun and the moon, whence they proceeded, and whither they went, whether they came again in their glorious return. And how one is superior to the other. Okay, let me see. Okay. One is superior to the other in their stately orbit, and how they do not leave their orbit, and they add nothing to their orbit, and they take nothing from it, and they keep faith with each other in accordance with the oath, which they are bound together. And first the sun goes forth and traverse his path according to the commandments of the Lord of spirits, and mighty is his name forever and ever. And after that I saw the hidden and the visible path of the moon, and she accomplishes the course of her path in that place by day and by night. The one holding the position opposite the other before the Lord of spirits. And they gave thanks and praise, and rest not, for unto them is their thanksgiving rest. For the sun changes or off for a blessing or a curse, and a curse to the path of the moon is a light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners, in the name of the Lord of spirits. Okay, let me get off of this. Let me get where I was going to. 46 says, and there I saw one who had, here we go, we talked about this earlier, and there I saw one who had a head of days, and his head was white like wool. We know that is. And with him was another being whose countenance had been the appearance of a man, and his face was full of graciousness like one of the holy angels. See that? So this goes back to what we saw. It was a man brought before the Ancient of Days, right? And it says 3. And I asked the angel who went with me and showed me all the hidden things concerning that son of man, who was and whence he was, and why he went with a head of days. See that? And he answered me and said unto me, this is the son of man who have righteousness, and who dwelleth righteousness, and who revealeth all the treasures of that which is hidden, because the Lord of spirits have chosen him, and whose lot have been preordained before the Lord of spirits in uprightness. Let's look at that. Okay, he said the Lord of hosts chose him, right? I'm in 2 Samuel. You might have to let this permeate, but I'm in 2 Samuel chapter 16. He said the Lord of spirits had chosen him, right? Look at this. Okay. Yeah, let's get it right quick. First Samuel, my bad. It's First Samuel, I'm tripping. First Samuel. Okay. Yeah, here you go. Chapter 16, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill that horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. So remember that. Okay, you're going to say, well, what you talking about, brother? Let me go. Read it again. And the Lord said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him for reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I provided me a king among his sons. Right? So we say he got a king. Right? And the king, like I said, the king has a throne. The king got a throne. And he got a kingdom. We know from what they gave us by JC, he ain't got no throne. He can't sit on Michael's throne. Michael got his own throne. So this king, whoever he's talking about, got a throne. And he's sitting on it. We're going to keep going. So it says, and he answered me and said, this is the son of 5, because the Lord of spirits have chosen him, and whose lot have been preordained. See that? Before the Lord of spirits in the uprightness forever. This son of man whom thou hast seen shall raise up kings, and shall raise up kings, that's giants, and the mighty from their seats, and the strong ones from their throne. Who did that? Okay. And shall loosen the reins of the strong and break the teeth of the sinners. He shall put down the kings from their thrones. See that? That means they got kingdoms. Og, and Bashan, all these kings, they had thrones. They was on. See that? So anyway, keep going. It says, nor humble knowledge, which the kingdom was bestowed upon them, and he shall put down the countenance of the strong, and shall fill them with shame. And darkness shall be their dwelling, and worms mean he's going to kill them, they're going to get buried, and their body's going to turn to worms, right? Shall be their bed, and they shall not have no hope of rising from their beds, because they do not extol the name of the Lord of spirits. These giants don't acknowledge heaven. These are they who judge the stars of heaven and raise their hands against the Most High, and tread the earth and dwell upon it. And all their deeds manifested unrighteousness, and their powers rest upon their riches, and their faith is in the gods which they have made with their hands, and they deny the name of the Lord of spirits. Excuse me. He says, and they persecute the houses of his congregation, and the faithful who hang upon the name of the Lord of spirits. And in those days shall have ascended the prayers of the righteous, and the blood of the righteous from the earth before the Lord of spirits. And I told you how it's more than one day of the Lord. Keep that in mind. We're going to see that in a minute. In those days, the holy ones who dwell above the heavens shall unite. Look at this. In those days, whatever days this is, in those days, the holy ones who dwell in the heavens shall unite with one voice, and supplicate and pray and praise and give thanks and bless the name of the Lord of spirits on behalf of the blood. Look at this. Go JC. I'm reading this called the JC, right? So we're going to see where JC got the blood, where they get this blood thing from. Said, and he gave thanks and blessed the name of the Lord of spirits on behalf of the blood of the righteous, that righteous congregation I told you about. The blood of the righteous, which have been shed. See that? Started with Abel. It's the righteous blood that's been shed that's justifying us. See that? The righteous which have been shed, that the prayers of the righteous may not be in vain before the Lord of spirits. That judgment may be done unto them, that they may have to suffer forever. In those days, I saw the head of days when he seated upon his throne. See that? The head of days, Michael got throne. Can't nobody sit on that throne. That's it. That's his throne. See that? In the old days, I saw the head of days when he sit upon his throne of his glory, and the books of the living were opened before him. And all this host, which is in heaven, see that? And this host, which is in heaven above, and his counselors stood before him. and his heart, and the heart of the holy ones was filled with joy. So let's look at that. We're gonna get it all the way right. So David got a throne, right? So when Solomon's son took over, Rehoboam took over, he said that Solomon, all his counselors, all his people that was around Solomon's throne was with him. But Rehoboam didn't listen to them. He listened to the younger folks. So like I was telling you before, Yahweh up in heaven, he on the throne, and all these angels and everybody around him, and the Lord of hosts got a throne, and David got a throne on earth. And they all the people, the same as above, down here, same thing. And JC ain't got no throne. Nobody else don't have no throne. Nobody else we know in the scriptures. Isaiah, Jeremiah, they don't have no throne. They don't have no kingdom. So we could keep going. 48. And in that place I saw fountains of, let me see where I was at. Yeah, okay, 48. And in that place I saw the fountains of the righteous, which had never dry, and around it were many fountains of wisdom, and the thirsty drank of them which filled with wisdom. Let's look at that. We're gonna open this all the way up. He says, and around it were many fountains of wisdom. See that? That's why he's saying, that's why you're always using water as wisdom, correlating the two. Around it were the fountains of wisdom, and all the thirsty drank of them and were filled with wisdom. So let's look at that. This the crux of our scenario right today. So I'm in Isaiah. I go here all the time. Right here. This is why he can say this. Isaiah chapter 44, 1 through 5. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus says the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jezreel, whom I have chosen. I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon dry ground. And I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessings upon thy offspring. He can say that because of what's going on right here. Enoch 48, verse 2. And around his throne, were many fountains of wisdom, and all the thirsty. That's all the ones down here, the Israelites, that's got a spirit on them that's looking for the truth. It says, and around it were many fountains of wisdom, and all the thirsty drank of them and were filled with wisdom. See that? And that's what's happening. See, and their dwelling place were with the righteous and the holy and the elect. And at that hour, that Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of spirits, and his name before the head of days. Yea, before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were made, his name was named before the Lord of spirits. And he shall be a staff to the righteous, whereon to stay themselves and not fall. He shall be the light to the Gentiles, and the hope of those who are troubled of heart. All who dwell on earth shall fall down and worship before him, and will praise and bless and celebrate the song of the Lord of spirits. And for this reason, he have been chosen and hidden before him in the creation of the world and forevermore. And the wisdom of the Lord of spirits have revealed him to the holy and the righteous, for he have preserved the lot of the righteous, because they have hated and despised this world of unrighteousness, and have hated all his works and the ways and the names of the Lord of Spirit. For in his name they are saved, and according to his good pleasure have it been in regard to their life. In those days shall the kings of the earth become downcast in countenance, and the strong who possess the land because of the works of their hands. For on that day, on the day of their anguish and affliction, they shall not be able to save themselves. And I will give them over into the hands of mine elect, and as straw in the fire shall they burn before the face of the holy. As lead in the water, shall they sink before the face of the righteous, and no trace of them shall be any more found. And on that day of their affliction, there shall be rest on the earth. they shall fall and not rise again. There shall be no one to take them with his hands and raise them, for they have denied the Lord of spirits and his anointed. See that? And his anointed. See that? He just told you go and anoint David. He just told him, "Mighty, I got a king right here. Go anoint him." That's what anointing means. Therefore, let the name of the Lord of spirits be blessed. For wisdom is poured out like water, and glory hath failed not before him forevermore. For he is mighty in all the secrets of righteousness, and righteousness shall disappear, and the shadow and have no countenance, because the elect one standeth before the Lord of spirit, and his glory is forever and ever, and his might unto all generations. And in him dwelleth the spirit of wisdom, and the spirit of which gives insight. Let's look at that. Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11. Like I say, I ain't write this. Chapter 11. Look at this. And there shall come forth a rod. I ain't got to add to it or nothing. There shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. See that? David. And a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. The spirit of wisdom, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of counsel, and the spirit of might, and the spirit of knowledge, and the fear of the Lord, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the spirit of sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with iniquity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth. See that? The earth. This ain't the David we talk about over there in Jerusalem. He says, he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Son of Jesse. Like I said, I ain't right there. So anyway, this is what they have done to us. Right here. So 48 and 11. Because they have hated and despised the words of righteousness. No, I already read that, right? 49 and 5 says, in him dwells the spirit of wisdom, and the spirit which dwells and the spirit which gives insight, the spirit of understanding, and the spirit of might, and those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. So these same 7 spirits that we just read in Isaiah, that's on David. And he shall judge the secret things, and none shall be able to utter a lying word before him. For he is the elect one before the Lord of spirits, according to his good pleasure. Right? And in those days, a change shall take place. Now watch this here. This is what I read all that to read this. I told you it's more than one day of the Lord. It says, and in those days, a change shall take place, for the holy and elect, and the light of the day shall abide upon them. The glory and honor shall turn to the holy on the day of affliction, on which evil shall be treasured up against the sinner, and the righteous shall be victorious in the name of the Lord of spirits. He will cause the others to witness this, that they may repent and turn from the works of their hands. They shall have no honor through the name of the Lord of spirits, yet through his name shall they be saved. And the Lord of spirits will have compassion on them, for his compassion is great. He is the righteous also in his judgment. In the presence of his glory, unrighteousness also shall not maintain itself. At his judgment, the unrepentant shall perish before him. And from henceforth I will have no mercy on them, said the Lord of spirits. In those days, this is 51. In those days shall the earth also give back that which have been entrusted to it, and shall all also shall give back that which has been received, and hell shall give back that which it owes. In those days the elect one shall arise, and he shall choose the righteous and holy from among them. And for that day draw nigh, and they shall be saved. And the elect one shall in those days sit on his throne. Here you go. See this right here? And the elect one shall in those days sit on my throne, and his mouth shall pour forth all the secrets of wisdom and counsel. For spirit, Lord of spirits have given them to him, and have glorified him. In those days shall the mountains leap like rams, and all the hills also shall skip like lambs satisfied with milk, and the faces of all the angels in heaven shall be lit up with joy, and the earth shall rejoice, and the righteous shall dwell upon it, and the elect shall walk thereon. 52. After those days, in that place where I had seen all the visions of that which is hidden, this Enoch talking, for I had been carried off in a whirlwind. We back to the beginning. I had been carried off in a whirlwind, and they had borne me toward the west. Their mind eyes saw all the secret things of heaven that shall be. I looked and I saw a mountain. Here we go, right here. This is if you're wondering if we're gonna get the great substance. He says, I looked and I saw a mountain of iron, and a mountain of copper, and a mountain of silver, a mountain of gold, and a mountain of soft metal, and a mountain of lead. 5. And I asked the angel who went with me, saying, what are these things which I have seen in secret? He asked him, what is all these mountains, all this metal, right? 6. And he said unto me, all these things which thou hast seen shall serve the dominion of his anointing, that he may be potent and mighty in the earth. See that? There goes your great substance right there. Giving all that to David. Come on. And the angel of peace answered, saying unto me, wait a little while, and there shall be revealed unto thee all the secret things which surround the Lord of spirits and of those mountains, see that? Which thine eyes have seen, of the mountain of iron, of the mountain of copper, of the mountain of silver, the mountain of gold, and the mountain of metals, and the metal of lead, and the mountain of metal of lead. All these things shall be in the presence of the elect one, as wax before the fire, and like water which stream down from upon the mountains. All they shall become powerless before his feet. And it shall come to pass in those days that none shall be saved, neither by gold or by silver, and none be able to escape. And there shall be no iron for war. See that? That's why he got all the metals. They ain't got nothing. The Gentiles, they said Lucifer and Asia taught them how to make weapons out of metals. He didn't got all the metal. So he says, and it shall come to pass in those days that none shall be saved, neither by gold or by silver, or none shall be able to escape. And there shall be no iron for these Gentiles to make no weapons with. See that? There shall be no iron for war, nor shall one clothe himself with a breastplate. A male, Gentiles and these giants, right? Bronze shall be of no service. Tin shall be of no service, and shall not be esteemed. And these Gentiles esteem this. And lead shall not be desired. And all these things shall be denied and destroyed from the surface of the earth when the elect one shall appear before the face of the Lord of Spirit. Okay? Any comments?
Ooh, that's some good stuff.
Now see that. Exactly. When you read, that's when you read it right. Ain't that something? You ain't got to add nothing to it.
Yes.
Okay? Ain't that something?
Enoch was speaking in parables.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. So
ain't nobody else speaking in parables.
Right, exactly.
Right. You ain't got nobody else speaking no parables. That's so, like I was saying, you start to see how ignorant they are, because you sitting there reading that, you seeing that Enoch was speaking in parables. JC ain't got to speak in parables. You already did your job. You already hooked us.
Right.
But you so bent on copying that you got to make him do parables too. Come on. Ain't that so?
Right. Now you should be able to see and understand why they don't want to Enoch, right, and why they got JC doing that. You know what I'm saying?
They got to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what the hook is. The hook is the book of Enoch. That's what the hook is.
Broke it down this morning. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was just 4 or 5 chapters, but yeah. So you see what happens with the book of Enoch. You're able to like they said, run a sword like Enoch did, run a spear through JC, get him out the way, but you also it connecting dots to you to our scriptures, the Old Testament.
Yes.
Can no other book do that?
Come on.
Come on. Okay. So we're gonna leave it right there. Anybody else got anything else?
Hey, Leonard, I do, man.
What you got?
I'm still struggling with this head of days and Lord of spirits. Because in chapter 40, you had the four holy angels carrying the throne of the Lord of spirits.
Right.
And one of those four was Michael. So I'm just having...
Yeah, I was looking at that, but like I was saying before, when you look at what they done, we saw the Lord of spirits, and then we saw what that were the words I said, the Lord of the I read I can't remember what I read.
You had the Lord of glory. That was
one. So that's the Lord of glory, and the seven angels with him. Just like in, let's look at it. Look at Ezekiel chapter 1. Yeah, Ezekiel chapter 1. Chapter verse 4. Ezekiel 1 and 4. I looked and behold, a whirlwind came. See, so we know what the whirlwind is, right? So if you go to that verse you're talking about, we know that's the Lord of glory. See that?
Okay.
See, I looked and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself and the brightness about it, and out of the midst thereof were four living creatures. So
right, because glory is described as brightness.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
So they from there, like I said, they so bent on trying to hoodwink everything, they done flipped it all out. But you can line upon line, precept upon precept, put everything where it's supposed to be at. Like I was saying before, they done already told you when JC came, he had no throne.
Okay. So that's Yahweh at that point.
Right.
Okay.
Lord of glory.
Yes, yeah. And they're saying Lord of spirit. So
right.
That was throwing me off. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Right. And then I was showing you how in the King James how they sing God of hosts. See that let you know right there. They so bent on trying to hoodwink it. You don't see nowhere else where it say no God of hosts. It's always Lord of hosts. So you so busy trying to make 2 1. You trying to put God of hosts there. You trying to make it all one being, but it ain't one being.
Shalom. In chapter 48 and 7, and he shall be the light of the Gentiles and the hope of those who are troubled of heart. I know it talks about that somewhere in Isaiah, but I'm looking for that and I cannot find that. So, because I just think that's off a little bit.
Why you say that?
About that for 48 and 7 in Enoch.
Right. Read it again.
And he shall be the light of the Gentiles and the hope of those who are troubled of heart.
Okay, so what you trying to?
I remember you talking about that in Isaiah, something where the Gentiles are drawn to the light or something, Israelite or something.
Oh, that's it. That's in Isaiah 60.
Isaiah 6. Okay. I was trying to find. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Gentiles shall come to thy light.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
But a better precept for that is, let me get it. It's in the Apocrypha. And it's second Ezra. Like I say, you can't. There's no way under the sun we could have connected none of these dots if we hadn't came. The Most High hadn't shined light on these books for us. Let me see. So anybody got anything else while I'm finding this?
Shalom. I just wanted to talk a little about chapter 52, verse 12, how none shall be saved. Their money, their iron, their breastplates. I mean, that's not going to get them out of this.
Right, exactly. We see that already in the story. He already neutralizing them now as we speak. They being neutralized. That's why they doing. That's why you're getting all these Karens and all over the place, because they see their little world being dissolved. Okay, here you go.
You know, and all that we have read in the book of Enoch, I think it's awesome the way the Lord of hosts saw that he would have a Messiah and King in the latter days that was going to come back and fulfill prophecy. So back in Enoch time, he knew of David. David was coming.
Right. That's what I was saying in they read over. Let me read it. I don't want to. Yeah. So I'm in Numbers, I think it is. Let me get Numbers right quick. Still got a few minutes. So Numbers 24. Numbers 24, Balaam prophecy. So you got number 24, 23? No, let me see. Yeah, number 24. You got it?
Yes, sir.
So notice it's a parable. Then he took up his parable and said, Balaam, son of Pierre, has said, a man whose eyes are open, he has said, which heard the words of God, right? So this is the Lord of hosts talking through him, which knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw in a vision the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. Then here you go. 17. I shall see him, but not now. There shall come a star out of Jacob, a scepter. See that? A king hold a scepter. That's David. See that? A scepter shall arise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy the children of Seth. That's all it's doing is going along with the. Now we know that's what Enoch was prophesying about. See that?
Right. Yep.
And then so that's what then you go to the story of David. That's what David done. He smite the corners of Moab. JC ain't do none of that. He too busy getting his beard plucked. So he smite the corners of Moab. He put he made Edom he subjected the Edomites. He did all that, and he, like I said before, and he's sitting on a throne. The Most High told you in the book of Enoch, this elect one got a throne. So let's go. Let's go a little further right quick. Then I'm gonna go read what I was gonna read. Daniel. You know, like I say, you gotta let it ferment. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, go over here to chapter 7. And verse 26. Verse 26, yeah. Chapter 7 of Daniel, verse 26. He's giving Daniel an interpretation of what's going to happen in the end after the fourth beast is destroyed. 26 says, I'm going to read 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, shall wear out the saints, that's the Israelites of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and that shall be given to him until the time and a half time. So when you understand that, that's Constantine. At the council nails here, he changed everything around. And we still dealing with what Constantine did to the day. That dominion that he set up and all that still going on to the day. And then 26 says, but the judgment is set, right? And they shall take away his dominion, right? That's Constantine. Take away his dominion and consume it and destroy it until the end, right? Then here we go, 27. And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heavens, that's David's kingdom. See that? You got a kingdom as a king that's over that kingdom. We ain't but one, Most High anointed David. All the kings that lived on the throne after him was his sons. Out his loin is David's throne. So he says, and the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints, the Israelites of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. And all dominions shall serve and obey him. David. See that? Okay. I ain't writing. So let me read this right here. I was talking to Michelle about right quick before I go. It says, okay. Yeah, so this right here was a better verse for what you had asked. It says, and it came to pass. I'm in Second Ezra, chapter 12, chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days that in the night I dreamed a dream, and behold, the wind arose from the sea, so as it stirred up all the waves. And I looked, and behold, the wind brought up out of the heart of the sea something like the figure of a man. And this man flew with the clouds of heaven, and wherever he turned his face to look, everything that was seen before by him trembled. And wherever his voice went from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted as wax melts when it fills the fire. And after that I looked, and behold, an innumerable multitude of men was gathered together from the four winds of heaven to make war upon the man who had come up out of the sea. So when you write it divided, David, he raised it, and he tells you that in Ezekiel 37. When he resurrect all of our forefathers, that righteous congregation we talked about. He bring them back, and they bring their bodies back, his bone back to his bone, put the spirit back in it. David over that army. Then he bring forth David, a man child, in Isaiah 66. And then Ezekiel 37 tells you he's going to cleanse Israel, and then David, and you're going to serve David, my king. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Hey, Lena, I got one. Chapter 40, verse 7. And the third voice I heard pray and intercede for those who dwell upon the earth and supplicate in the name of the Lord of spirits.
Right.
That's kind of deep, ain't it? I mean, that's is that like those that's waking up to who the Lord of hosts is?
Right. Yeah, exactly. He pouring the spirit out on them, but they Israelites.
Right.
Right. And it was already ordained.
Okay.
It's their destiny. That's what I mean by, you ain't gonna not, if you seeking for the knowledge of the truth of the Most High, it's not gonna evade you. He gonna bring it right to you.
Right.
You ain't got to sit around and worry about it.
That's a deep scripture for me right there. That's
right. That's why I keep going to it. Right.
Shalom. In verse 8, under that, there's a voice fending off the Satans and forbidding them to come before the Lord of spirits to accuse them who dwell on the earth. We got protection. Yes.
Right. You got it. We have protection. It's no different than that verse right there than what David said when he passed. He said these wicked spirits try to come and try to hinder him from, ascending. And the Lord of hosts had the thunder from heaven and sent out arrows and scatter them to get him. So no different than Elijah. He had to go up against all these wicked spirits. Isn't that something?
Yes.
Right.
Hey, Leonard, lastly, you could see how the book of Enoch exposes the writers of the New Testament.
Right.
How they try to attribute all of this to JC.
Right.
When the Lord of host had his own Messiah king that he anointed and had elected. Yeah, and I find that fascinating in the readings today.
Right. Yeah. All it takes is, you know, we go back to Ezra. When Ezra came back from Babylon, he said that he had Levites with him. They stood up in front of the people and they read. You know what I'm saying? They read the scriptures. They ain't got to try to make the scripture do nothing. All you got to do is read them. They holy. The Most High gonna do the rest with it. You ain't got to try to make it do something. That's what you learn in seminary. Trying to make the scripture say what you wanted to say when all you got to do is read it. With the spirit of the Most High on there, it's gonna do its thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand why they denigrated the Book of Enoch now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay. So everybody good?
All good.
Okay. Yeah.
Great class, brother. Great class.
Okay. Yeah. I want to say shalom. I'll see y'all this evening at 6 o'clock.